Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the second of today's Festival of New Events 2021. Just to let you know that there will be a short Q&A after this session, and we welcome any and all questions from our audience. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce a new ensemble project from the Carnatic vocalist Supriya Nagarajan, pianist Yana Zisiado, flautist Sarah Waycott, together creating unique soundscapes which meld Western genres with Indian music, taking their name from the Sanskrit word Prana, meaning ultimate breath, and Anasa, Greek for breath. PRANASA aim to do nothing less than breathe music. Together, Supriya, Sarah, and Yana view their distinctive cultural diversity as a great strength and opportunity. PRANASA are also joined by Duncan Chapman, a Lincolnshire-based composer, musician, and sound artist whose practice ranges across performance, installation, and recording, as well as regular collaborations with Supriya. So please give a very warm welcome to PRANASA.
We're here, and it's like a dream that we're here. I can tell you that. It's been a phenomenal week for us. This is the beginning of a new project for all of us. PRANASA or PRANASA, we can't even decide how we pronounce it. So that is the cultural, melange that you will see today, or you will hear rather. Every little thing that we play and how we play it, I guess, will inform or will reference in the last piece. The last piece is really the one that we will do all of us together, all four of us. But we will start with just the two of us. No, don't sing it. We are Animo. So we started life as Animo, and then Supriya came in. We commissioned her to write a composition for us, and she said, "Oh, it will be fine." You have to meet her to know that she does that a lot. "It'll be fine. I'm going to sing it and then you're going to play it." What? It wasn't quite like that, but we started a composition project together, and it was so amazing. It opened up so many doors for us that we thought we want more of this. And Supriya said, "Yes, let's do more." And so PRANASA was born. The first piece we're going to play as Animo, though, is
Bali Moods.
Yes, it's Bali Moods by Anne Boyd. Again, there are references, you'll hear them throughout all of our pieces, I think, today. And so I leave you with Bali Moods. Do I need to say anything else? No. That's it. Enjoy Bali Moods. Balinese gamelan, and particularly the Balinese gamelan, which is brighter and faster and show-offy, rather than Javanese gamelan, which is more atmospheric, which is what we're doing a little bit more later. The next piece, I'll let Sarah introduce. By the way, this is Sarah and I'm Jana. Sorry, I haven't introduced us properly, but I'm Jana and Sarah.
Well, the next piece we have, Jana already mentioned that Supriya is one of our composers from a bigger project that we're doing every year. We're having new music, which we're commissioning. And the next piece we have for you is called The Journey of Alan Kurdi. And this is by a German composer called Lucas Peel. And we came across him on SoundCloud. And Jan said, have a listen to this and tell me what you think. And I said, yes, we need this person. Let's see if they'll write something for us. And so Lucas is a sound designer as well. He does a lot of game music, a lot of film music. And so he said, yes, I'd love to. So he went away and he came back with a piece of music for us. And it just blew us away. And he said, I don't know what you'll think about the theme, and it's okay, you know, if you're not sure. But it touched us so much, and I think it's felt really relevant over the last year and a half, with the situation that the whole world has been put into. So Alan Kurdi was, many if not all of you will have seen the image of the young boy Alan, who was washed up on the shore, trying to make it across the waters to safer land. And so ultimately that's what this piece is about, and you'll hear the clock ticking all the way through, and this kind of represents the passing of time. And although his story is immensely sad, we've decided over the last year to kind of, for us, put an element of hope in, that we've all been, you know, set to sea almost. And the time and how these things impact you, and the way they change your mind frame about how you view situations. And so ultimately, hopefully you will hear something that resonates with you in this next piece. So this is The Journey of Alan Kurdi by Lucas Peel.
do a workshop in Huddersfield for the Contemporary Music Festival to do with lullabies, and Supriya had been collecting lullabies in India and other places for quite a long time. And since then we've gone on lots of adventures doing lullaby concerts in very sort of ordinary and unexpected places, so ranging from scout huts, a concert hall in Iceland with a symphony orchestra, in Australia, all over the UK, in a lot of Scandinavian countries, in Finland and Norway. And we've been doing that project for quite a long time now, in lots of different ways, with lots of collaborators. And also working together on multiple things simultaneously. I think we seem to work together all the time. And the two things we're going to play for you, well, the first thing we're going to play for you is from an album we made last year. Well, we released it last year. We've been making it for a while. And we made it out of, I suppose, collections of things that we liked. And very much a bit like the project that I've actually come into at the end of the week to join these musicians. It's something that's driven totally by curiosity. And I think that's just a really sort of wonderful thing. It is why this place is here, you know, that someone was curious enough and interested enough and motivated enough to make things happen. So the two pieces we're going to play, the first one is from an album we made called Dusk Notes. You could wave the album, which is available in all format and all of that stuff. And it's a duo album, but also it features another collaborator, Karen de Flat, who's a flute player who lives in Belgium. Obviously, travelling from Belgium to the UK at the moment is quite tricky. So we're going to play a piece from that called On the Banks of the Jamuna, and then we're going to play a more recent piece.
Yeah, actually the first piece is about Lord Krishna and how he entices the maidens of the village by playing his flute. So, considering Sarah's just played a wonderful flute piece, this is just in line with the flute piece, and it's talking about Lord Krishna, and it's set in a midnight raga. So for those of you who are familiar with the raga system in Indian music, it's the way the melodies are arranged, and it's a range of notes, and you change a note, you change the scale, and you change the raga. So the raga, this one that we are going to present, is in Madhuvanti, which is a night raga. It's midnight. So if you close your eyes and feel like sleeping, it's perfectly understandable because it's a midnight raga. But it is also my favorite raga because it's very evocative. So On the Banks of Jamuna is the first piece, and the second piece is something we are just experimenting with. So considering this is Festival of New and it's all experimental, we thought it was just appropriate for the first time. So bear with us if it is glitchy a little bit, but hopefully not. We are going to present the second piece, which is called Persian Mae. We just named it today. And Mae is illusion in Tamil, the language that I speak, and Persian because we have a wonderful Kanu player who has contributed to the piece through some remote, she recorded remotely and sent her contribution to us. So everything is experimental. In this new world, we are experimenting, and hopefully the result is appealing. So over to On the Banks of Jamuna.
जमुना किनारे
जमुना किनारे प्यारे, जमुना किनारे प्यारे, कदम तरे मोहना, बांसुरी बांसुरी बजावे, हरि कुंज भवन में जमुना किनारे प्यारे, कदम तरे हरि कुंज भवन में जमुना किनारे, मोरे पीछे गले मल मकराकृत कुंडल, मोरे पीछे गले मल मकराकृत कुंडल, मकुठादिका भूषण, राजो मेरो मन में जमुना किनारे, पद्मनाभ दीनबन्धो, पद्मनाभ दीनबन्धो, पद्मनाभ दीनबन्धो, मेरो पाप हारो प्रभु, पद्मनाभ दीनबन्धो, मेरो पाप हारो प्रभु, गोपीनाथ गिरिधारी, राजो मेरो मन में जमुना किनारे प्यारे, कदम तरे मोहना, बांसुरी बजावे, हरि कुंज भवन में जमुना किनारे, जमुना किनारे, जमुना किनारे।
to add to what Supriya said earlier, is I suppose an example of what the kind of situation that we've all been in for the last year and a half has sort of done, in a way. So actually over the last year and a half we've done rather a lot of collaborations with people, so taking it as an opportunity to invite, a bit like commissioning somebody you were talking about, invite people we think, we really like what you do, can you send us a recording? And these have ranged from a friend of ours in Finland, who's a French horn player, going into the sauna, playing the French horn while it gets hot until it's too hot to be, and then going outside and sending us this recording. And obviously Nilufer, who we're going to use her recording on this. And we've done a lot of these improvised online performances with these recordings we've invited people to send. A lot of them have been like regular collaborators, like our friend Carly, the horn player. But some of them, like Nilufer, are actually people we've...
I met Nilufer on Twitter. So Twitter is good, folks. If you don't follow social media, Twitter is okay, because I listened to a piece of her music and I asked, would you be interested? I'll send you some examples of what we have done. And she was like, yeah, this sounds cool. And then the resultant was absolutely exquisite. And you can listen to a whole year of our collaborations if you go into the Facebook of Manasa Mitra, which is the organization I'm the artistic director of. So if you go to Facebook for Manasa Mitra and have a listen to the year's worth of collaborations, you will find all sorts, from piano to saxophone to Indian violin to all sorts. So we have 40-minute slots, and it's been a joy for us to be able to do this in lockdown.
So originally this was done with me in Lincolnshire in my shed with some recordings, and Supriya in Dewsbury in Yorkshire connected to me by Skype, and mixing them together and sending it out into the world in the hope that somebody would listen. So this is the piece we've made with Nilufer's recording, anyway. That was fun to start with.
वेङ्कटाचलनिलयं वैकुण्ठपुरवासं वेङ्कटाचलनिलयं वैकुण्ठपुरवासं पङ्कजनेत्रं परमपवित्रं पङ्कजनेत्रं परम पवित्रं शंख चक्रधर चिन्मय रूपं वेंकटाचल निलयं वैकुंठपुरवासम् मकरकुण्डल रूपम् मकरकुण्डल रूपं मदन गोपालं तुम्बुरु नारद गानविलोलं तुम्बुरु नारद गानविलोलं वेंकटाचल निलयं वैकुंठपुरवासम् अम्बुजोद्भव विनुतं अहनित अम्बुजोद्भव विनुतो अहनित गुणनामं भक्तपोषक श्री पुरंदर विठ्ठलं भक्तपोषक श्री पुरंदर विठ्ठलं वेंकटाचल निलयं वैकुंठपुरवासम् पंकजनेत्रं परमपवित्रं पंकजनेत्रं परमपवित्रं शंखचक्रधर चिन्मय रूपं वेंकटाचल निलयं
about this weaving in of the themes that we are that created Pranasa.
Yes.
And I was thinking Bali is obviously an exotic place, but also Balinese music is for everyone. There are no performers and non-performers. Everybody plays. Everybody can play a pattern, and everybody takes part in it. And it's such a community thing. Such a wonderful. It's a human endeavor, isn't it? It's a joyous thing. then the Alan Kurdi, for us, it's about coming home.
Yes.
So this notion of humanity coming home. Then what you've just performed, the collaborations, the sounds that merge, and
Yes.
yes, again,
Yeah, a little bit
Those
of
things.
discord in the sounds. I don't know if you noticed, but there is discord in the sounds, but that is intentional in terms of, you know, you have to think outside the box to listen to a new sound. So that was sort of the message that the last piece embodied. I'm in a box, and Duncan's in a box, and Yana is, but we are all not, because that's what we are about. This week is about
Yes.
not being in that box.
exactly. We are free to have a visceral reaction to music, whatever that is. No one can tell you one way or the other. You don't have to take a stance, and you don't have to believe in one music religion and not the other. You can just accept all music for what it is. And I guess this is the link to the next, to the final piece. This was our project this few days. It took a little while to find a structure. I think Supriya was very good at saying, right, now we need a structure, come on. Yeah, but you know, this is part of the whole journey of, what are we doing and how are we doing it?
But
So-
in spite of all the clicking, we didn't have a structure till yesterday.
No, that's true. It's exactly right. Clicking didn't get anywhere. It's so true. But anyway, we've got the structure, a loose structure anyway. And it all started with, Sabrina said, well, what is your favorite piece? And we thought of the habanera. Okay, I'm not going to call it carbonara by Ravielli, no. It's habanera by Ravel. This is what started us as a group. We thought this is the music we want to play, and we want to play only music that we love. And this is one of the pieces that we absolutely adore. And suddenly Sabriya started singing on top of that. And that's the start of the piece that we called
The river. And we have a surprise for you, because we have a wonderful poet in our midst. Jo, where are you? You can stand. There she is. Jo had come in for the residency, and unfortunately her team member couldn't make the residency because of the big C word. And as a result, we thought it would be really fun, because we were experimenting, we were a blank slate. We thought it would be wonderful to include Jo's poem in the river, because Jo was talking about Newcastle and the river and washing the horses and Appleby Fair, and it all resonated with various things that we sort of relate to. The Greek ethos of the river, and you know, from where I come from in India, and of course we are next to various rivers in this country. So it's like the river is the piece that we have constructed in these 4 days. Bear with us, because it is an experimental piece, still to be tuned and fine-tuned. But it has wonderful words that Jo wrote for us, and music that we have brainstormed and created together. And Duncan joined us yesterday and brought the piece together. Suddenly it was all fine. No pressure.
No pressure there.
No pressure there.
just like this time. I have to say, it's been the most extraordinary experience, obviously, to work with Supriya, but also with Duncan. And it has transformed every notion of music we've ever known. So I hope you enjoy it. We certainly enjoy playing it. Thank you.
Threads with its arms, simple figs, the Welsh
Gamapada nidapa damadapa Gamapada nisanida nidapa dama Gamapada nisare Anum dum dum da da num dum dum da da num dum dum da da num da da num da da num da da num dum dum da anum dum dum da da anum dum dum da da num dum dum da da num da da num da anum da da num da anum dum da da num da da num da da num dum da da num dum dum da da num da da num ta num ta num dum ta anum ta ta num ta num ta num ta
And that was PRANASA. Sure. There are some chairs there, but
That would be great.
Musical chairs.
I just sit here.
Wow, guys, that was just spellbindingly beautiful. It really, really was. Really, really magnificent. So I think we met like 2 days ago, and I sort of came in to say hello to you all, and I had like about 1,000,001 questions. I'm not going to ask 1,000,001 questions. I will ask maybe 2 questions, because I would like to get some feedback and questions from the audience, because my sense is that maybe people have something to say about the experience that they've had. So perhaps I'll just sort of throw out an open question to you all, which is thinking about tradition and sort of what tradition kind of means to you, and maybe what you have, if you have learned anything about your own traditions working with one another.
I think it's been a whole journey this week, Tess, because when we came here, we knew each other. We had worked before, but we didn't have that sense of how something together will happen. And the river is a perfect example of how we all felt. Because just like a river, it could be in any country, in any state, anywhere, and it tumbles from there. So the piece is layered in a way, it follows the path of a river. I mean, it is too deep to sort of announce before and people looking out. But the idea was that the river starts somewhere at the top and slowly tumbles down, and then it's really a babbling brook. That Joe coined that word. It's a babbling brook, so there's a little bit of a frenzy there. And then it goes out and finds little nooks and corners and settles in a lake or the sea or wherever it settles down. So that is actually our experience. That's exactly what happened to us with our own cultures, traditions, finding out a little bit more about how similar our cultures are.
Yeah.
Do you want to give an example?
Which example are you
The food example.
Yes, well, okay. Well, Supriya and I discovered that staple diet for Greeks and Indians is yogurt and rice.
Mm.
That's it.
Wow.
With nothing else on.
Right.
Also,
And I was just going to say, we have, in India, we have this. So if we serve food, if we have guests at home and we serve, we say, they tell us enough, but it's not acceptable. You give some more, and then you give some more.
Right,
And
right.
that's exactly what... Enough doesn't mean enough. So it is interesting. And then we discovered, driving back and forth just in the car with Sarah, had so many conversations about how life evolved. And I was telling Sarah yesterday night, I almost pictured you as a schoolgirl in the schoolyard watching everybody quietly. And we had a laugh about that. But that's the whole experience, Tess. And I'll pass it on
Yeah,
to
maybe Sarah can say something.
Yeah.
Because sort of, Sarah, when we spoke before, and I think I sort of asked everyone about their traditions, and you very sort of apologetically kind of said, yeah, I am, sorry, you asked for it. You very apologetically sort of said, oh, I'm just English.
Yes. Well, the funny thing was as well that applying for things, everything now, because we so much want to diversify and not have any, you were talking about boxes and, just we're all people. That's it at the end of the day. But they were laughing at me because I sent off the application to come here. And so I was the one that did the diversity form. Right. Kind of 35 to 40 age category. Nothing interesting to say.
it's true. It goes back to the declassification we were talking about earlier, which is where we want to be. And I know Duncan is desperate to be in that category as well.
Yeah. Well, let me just sort of bring in Duncan, because we had a lovely little moment. I think it was sort of yesterday, and I kind of got to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I was curious to know about, because obviously you have worked with Supriya before,
Yes.
but what the unique kind of challenges are when you're kind of coming into a collaboration slightly late in the day.
I suppose it's the thing about it really is to trust that I think that one of the things that a lot of musicians, composers and people don't do very much is trust the flappy things on the sides of your head. you know.
Right.
The lot of time people sort of listen with their eyes or with their brains a bit, and so actually to listen to what is there and to respond, you know, and actually you think about tradition, and also I kind of think about coming to this place and the tradition of actually rooting the music you make in place, and it having a connection with place and a connection with the provenance of the things that you include. So for me, one of the things I realised after coming, that I had to go for the swim in the sea early in the morning before we started work, and I had to get the handful of stones from Aldborough Beach again to use in the piece, because actually it would sort of root it there, and I'm thinking, I might need these later. So very much for me it was coming in on something that had shape and form and had spaces to add things to it, but not to swamp it, you know, not to just overwhelm it with electronic noise or recordings of birds or whatever.
Sure.
And over the 3 days, we kept saying, oh, when Duncan comes, it's always something.
You hear also the reeds.
Right,
So they were coming, they were fading in and out, and that wasn't Duncan fading them in and out, it's exactly coming out here. It is.
And actually the recording of Joe's voice, we went as for me that is a tradition, because I've done lots of projects with young people here, and the tradition is that you go into the reeds and you have a listen and you make recordings, you know, and I think that's what people have always done when they come here. And it's almost like every musician and artist I know who comes here and go, oh, we've got the recording of the reeds at Aldborough. but it seemed really important to go and record Joe in the middle of the reed bed, you know. So you can hear a bit of flute in the distance, actually, in that recording as well. So you can hear a bit of your barley piece drifting over the reeds, which is really beautiful, actually. And it's like, so that, really. Yeah.
Right. So I think when listening to this, the last piece, I was kind of thinking about the sort of synergies between the sort of the Greek tradition and Indian music in particular. And of course it kind of occurred to me that the important role actually that the flute has played in both of those traditions. But from my own sort of classical bias, my immediate kind of response was thinking about the French composer Olivier Messiaen, not just in terms of the surface sound, but of course because of his sort of research into ancient Greek music, and particularly sort of rhythms, and also as well sort of Indian classical music from kind of like 13th century. But of course the issue there is that very often he was kind of really just drawing from very dry textbooks. So I suppose that my question to you is what is kind of gained from actually engaging with people from different cultures, and also, is there any kind of advice that you would give to, say, young musicians who are really interested in exploring a particular genre which is outside of their kind of cultural world?
I think whether we like it or not, we carry the heritage with us, and that's what we loved about Jo's poem. That whatever she does, it will be her and her heritage, and she will see the world through those eyes and through that heart, and that's how it works. And it's the same for us. We can only see music, whether we like it or not, from where we come from. And for me, obviously, it's a little bit more pronounced, and for you, perhaps, but it's still the same for everyone. You have that tradition behind you. And anyone who wants to do something that is outside their comfort zone, do it. Every time. You learn an awful lot from someone else who speaks that different language to you, but innately. I think work with as many people as you can, collaborate. I think that's, I don't have to tell you.
Yeah, 3 C's of my life are curiosity, collaboration, and celebration, because I think they follow. But it all stems from curiosity. And you mentioned Messiaen, but he's a cinest, and I'm a cinest. So I view my music, although it's Indian music, ever since a child, and I didn't know this as a child, but I realized that my music is so colored, so it doesn't matter which tradition it comes from. Right. It is music that appeals, and I can connect. That's how I connected to the very first piece. It was just Yana they're just playing the piece, and I was like, this appeals to me, this really touches me, and I have to respond. So I said, let's start with this. And there was this
a little bit of a question mark to say, are we going out of the traditional box? How will this be viewed? But then that's the whole point of this week. It doesn't matter, and we have to experiment and see. So.
Wonderful. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. So I'm just going to throw out any audience observations, questions. Oh, there's one. Yes?
Yes, thank you so much for a wonderful concert. I want to ask a slightly controversial question. There are some people around who like to build barriers around their tradition and keep it sacrosanct. Do you feel that musical syncretism could be consistent with protecting traditional cultural forms?
Oh, okay. So the question, if I've understood it, just to kind of relay it, is to do with kind of cultural, is it concerns about cultural appropriation?
One of the buzzwords among the trendy has been about cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
I'm not subscribing to it. I'm just saying that.
Sure. Is there something lost culturally from? I see.
I think the answer to that, from as far as I can see, is that we live in a global, very connected world. So there is a place for every kind of music. And anybody who, say, for example, in the Carnatic tradition that I practice, if they are only interested in a very purist form of the music, then there are options out there for them to actually, go and listen to those. But if anybody is willing to experiment and look outside the box and be happy to accept a sound that is new, then the Festival of the New happens, and we bring Carnatic music to the Festival of New. So that's how I see it. There is a place for everybody in this connected world. And I think it's like I always give an example of I would never actually go and attend a football match. It's just because it's not me. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I don't attend. Hundreds of thousands of people do. So it's that thing of, who wants to do what. And, you are here because you are interested in the Festival of New. So we are new.
Can I? Oh, sorry, Sarah. Did you want to say something?
I was just thinking, while you asked the question and you answered that, in a way, yes, we have our traditions and we want to keep those and keep that sort of pure element of them. But by exploring with other cultures and with other sounds, is it also not a way of carrying those traditions and introducing them into places where perhaps you wouldn't come across them if they were kept so closely in their tradition? So by mixing up and blending, we're kind of taking further those traditions, and then you can then go back to the pure element of the tradition to hear what it was originally like. I don't know.
Duncan, would you like to have the final word?
The only thing I'd add is that I think it's as well as, not instead of, and also that a lot of music is very robust, Bach's music is robust enough to be played by Jacques Lussier as well as organists and as well as those of us who play the piano very badly, which is me, and played beautifully by pianists who can play the piano. And some music is very robust and it can stand up to that. So it's not like, oh, we'll have the jazz version of Preludes and Fugues. That means we're not allowed to have the other version. It's like we can have lots of those things. So it's a multiplicity thing, I think.
I'm afraid, as always, time is against us. So I just wanted to say, guys, it was a really sensationally beautiful concert. And thank you so much for your time.